Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. It's Knutson, back with another week. It's kind of an exciting show. It's kind of getting to the part of the year where golf for the northern part of the country is wearing down. But we got new clubs, and I'm super excited to talk about them. So I've been out playing. I'm going to keep playing till it gets too cold, which, who knows? When Michigan, it could happen tomorrow. But it's not. We still got some decent weather. But before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Team Titleist. And we're excited to share with you guys exclusive opportunities from Titleist. But to be a part of them, you have to join Team Titleist. Team Titleist gives you access to opportunities like prototype testing, special events, limited edition gear from Titleist, and so much more. Sign up and join us on Team Titleist at www.titleist.com/Team Titleist. All one word, Team Titleist. So if you want to test out those prototype Pro V1s that you see the white boxes posted all over and people have those prototypes, sign up for Team Titleist. That's going to give you your chance to do it, along with some a lot of other cool things. And it's just a community of wild gear, crazy people like us. So take a look, go out there, check out Team Titleist. And, I'm a member, been a member for a little while. Join up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's a weird part of the year. Typically, this is a slow season. We got Ryder Cup week, so that's going to be exciting. I'm always excited to watch Ryder Cup. I know it'll be an interesting time since it's over in Rome, in Italy, so time difference here on the East Coast will be interesting. I was looking at some of the viewership times and all that, and we're looking at 5:30, 6 a.m. Type coverage. I think one of them, want to say maybe Friday, it's 3 a.m., something like that. It's always kind of that crazy times, just like the Open Championship is. But excited for this one. I think this is going to be a close match. I think these are two good teams, and it's going to be close. And I hope it's exciting. Comes down to the wire, and in the end, hope the U.S. pulls it out. So it's going to be fun. We're going to see a lot of fun stuff there. But I'm still playing a lot of golf. And we've got a lot of new stuff that's kind of come out recently, which is kind of cool. We're going to talk about two things today. It's kind of heavy hitters for this time of the year. And excited that we have more and more golf to go. And I'm hopefully that we'll see some more stuff, more gear before the year is over. I know we will. And I've been playing okay. Last week in the league, shot 38 with a 7 on the card. A 7. So on hole 3, I pulled my tee shot left with my 7-wood, hit it into some trees that I could. I had to basically go sideways out, and I only could bring the club back to 9 o'clock. If you're 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever, I could only bring it back to there, and I had to chip it over a bunker to get it back into the fairway. I chipped it out, got it out, and then proceeded to hit a wedge fat. Barely made it over some water. Came up short. I had an elevated shot to the green, and I was in this nasty. So there's a little creek pond thing that runs in front of the third green, and if you miss it short, or as short as I did, it's just in this nasty, longish, just crappy grass. And I then didn't hit a great shot out of there. Made it short of the green, and then chipped it on and 2-putted for a nice 7. So you gotta love when you make triple bogey on a hole and you don't lose a ball, no penalty shot, nothing. So that's always fun. But other than that, I played really well. I think I bogeyed 2 and bogeyed one other hole. The rest of it, though, I played pretty well and hit the ball pretty solid. So really, other than that one tee shot that got me a little bit of trouble, I also hit, I think, probably one of the longest 3-woods I've ever hit. Now, it was downwind, but hole 1's kind of a short par 4. You can hit. Basically, if there's no wind, you hit driver, maybe pitching wedge. 3-wood pitching wedge. If you really want to rip driver and you can hit a little fade, you can get it up pretty close to the green. But if you hit it left, you can hit it in the road. So I always hit 3-wood or hybrid depending on the wind. And I pulled 3-wood. I kind of didn't even realize it was downwind that day, and hit just a phenomenal 3-wood. And it was at the very edge, the end of the fairway. And I haven't measured it how far it was, but it was definitely one of the longest 3-woods I've ever hit, which was pretty cool. Ended up getting on the ball on the green and making par there, which was hopefully what I think I had a 50-yard shot into the green. So nothing too wild, but made par there. I think I made a bogey on 2 because I kind of hit it over the left into the trees, and didn't hit a great shot out of there. And then it was just. From there on, I made a mess of 3, and then after 3, I pretty much kind of turn my phone off here because it looks like a bunch of people texting, group text. But and then I made a mess of 3, and then went off and 4, and then I made a birdie on 7, birdie on 8, so a par 3, par 5, made birdies on those 2, and then made a bogey on 9. After hitting my drive, and I hit driver because a couple weeks ago on the front 9's a hole, and again, really short par 4, and if you can take it up over the trees, you can get it down pretty close. And I hit a great drive like 2 weeks ago there. Got it up next to the green in the rough, kind of right in the front of the green, and chipped it on. And I think but I got it really close. I was like, I'm going to do that again. And I hit driver decent earlier, so I was like, okay, let's get this thing down there. And I just left the face open, hit it right, and there's a pond over on 18, in between 18 and 9, and hit it in the pond. So hit it in the pond there, had to drop, then had to hit it like a 60 over the tree, onto the green, and then made the putt. So I hit it to like a couple feet, made the putt, but it was a dumb decision. Usually I just hit like 7 wood, 4 iron, whatever, down the middle, down the fairway, hit it onto the green, but felt like I had to get aggressive and try to make a third birdie, but I didn't. So that was good. And then tonight is our last official league night. So we do a little four-man scramble thing. Everybody throws some money in the pot and do a little scramble and see who comes out ahead. So that's and then that's it. And most of these guys in my league I won't see till next year, unfortunately. But I'm gonna keep playing. I may switch to playing Wednesdays or something like that. I usually switch it up and move to a different day. Probably will because my daughter has dance on Thursday nights, so I'll probably go and watch a little bit of that, and then so I can be free, and I'll move to Wednesdays or something like that. But I'm gonna keep playing as long as I can, and I want to got a bunch of stuff to hit. And there's a bunch of good irons that I'm trying to sift through to choose absolute gamers. And man, there's some good stuff. Like I feel like if next year you're looking for irons, stuff that's out right now is so good. If you're especially in that kind of player's distance type category, just really, really good. There's just a lot of stuff. Like for me, it's like I'm kind of going between Titleist T150s, the Callaway Apex Pro, that triple play set. Man, it's good too. The Ping i230s with the Fujikura Axioms. I mean, I've got those going. And now, today, the first thing we're going to talk about, another really good set of irons that I've been messing with, the brand new PXG 0317Ts. So PXG is kind of mixing up the line a little bit, and instead of being the 0311T like they have previously, we're going to the 317 numbers. And basically, they're keeping all the 317 stuff as the kind of the players' irons, the lower handicap guys, and then everything in the 0311 is going to be a little more game improvement. So interesting to see that they're kind of changing it up a little bit. And I know when PXG first announced their line and kind of showed everything off, everybody's wondering where the T was, because all they came out was with a 0311P and I think a 0311XP. Yep, XP. So that was the Gen 6. And then the Gen 5 T was still around, but there was no T iron. And here it finally is. So the 0317T, and it fits in with those 0317 MB, CB, and now the T. So the T is going to be the multi-piece hollow or foam-filled multi-piece players kind of distance iron. Pretty compact. I was looking at it next to the Gen 5s that I played a lot of golf with. Was it last year? Played a lot of golf with the Gen 5 Ts. Setting them down to these, very, very similar in terms of size. They're, so the width of the sole, all that, very, very similar. A little cleaner look. I know that the Gen 5 Ts had kind of that two-tone black and white or black and silver finish. It could be silver with the two little black weights in the toe and the heel, and then reversed if you did the dark finish. And these here are just all silver with the pretty, now becoming very commonplace, big round weight in the middle of the club head. They've been using that round weight on a couple generations of irons now. And that weight there is basically just used to swing weight the club. So depending on your build, your shaft, length, specs, all that, they're going to dial that in to, make this thing swing weight wise, whatever swing weight you want, or get it as close as they can to whatever you're going to have for your build. And these ones here actually came, for whatever reason, PXG kind of has my specs a little wrong, and they send everything about a 1/2 inch long. So I actually reshafted these bad boys. These came with some True Temper Elevate shafts in there, and I put in some Nippon Modus Tour 115s that I had, and basically built these into Titleist standard lengths. So if you do go by PXG lengths, their lengths are a little bit different. The top end of the bag stuff is about 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch longer than traditional. If you're looking at like the 3, 4, 5, I think the 6 is about 1/4 of an inch long, or not even. It's about like a 15th of an inch. And then I think 7-iron gets you back to standard. So 7, 8, 9, and wedge are all pretty much standard. Wedge is 35 3/4 length for some people. So that's still just a little bit long. Usually that's 35.5. 9 is 36, and then 8 is 36.5, and 37. But then it jumps to like 6-iron is 37.625, and then 5-iron is 38.25, so about 1/4 inch long. So their lengths are a little bit different than some of the traditional stuff out there. So if you're going to get fit or anything like that, just kind of know that lengths are a little bit different. And then their lie angles, if you go by like a 7-iron, is 62.5. And then you're going, up from there as you go down. So the wedge is 64 degrees, and 4-iron is 61 degrees. So pretty standard there. And the tee is, again, they're multi-piece, kind of, I like to call it the cheater club. And it's the stuff that I kind of call everything I have. But it's the cheater. When you look at it, it looks like a player's iron. It's pretty compact, fairly minimal offset. But they pack a whole lot of technology into it. So this is a high-strength, high-speed steel face, a forged, I think it's 8620. I'm trying to remember exactly. I've got it up here on my screen, but I think it's 8620 forging, or 86 for carbon steel on the body. Yeah, 8620 carbon steel body, and a high-speed stainless steel face. I think they call it HT1770, so ultra thin face. And then inside is their S-Core material. So it's not S-Core 2, which is like the newest stuff. It's the I think the previous gen S-Core material inside. And from what they said, I think the reason that's in there is actually they're looking not so much for crazy ball speeds out of this. They're looking for more consistency when it comes to spin, when it comes to distance. So the S-Core is in there, because I believe that it offers a little better consistency there compared to the new, I think, S-Core 2 that's in like the Gen 6 Ps or 0311 Ps. But a really good looking iron out of the box. It looks really good. I really like all the milling on the backside of the club. It just gives it, a nice look. It's pretty simple, pretty clean. You can tell they move a lot of mass right behind the center of the club head, the striking point, and then out in the toe internally, they've got some tungsten and all that, and internal weighting to make these a little bit more forgiving. But overall, a really good looking club. It's got kind of a little sharper angles to it than say the Callaways that I just talked about. These are going to have a little more square, more boxy toe, a little sharper, more angled top line, and offset wise, just a little bit of offset. They say the 4-iron looks like it has a decent amount of offset. It's labeled as 0.150 inches, along with the 3-iron, the 4-iron is 0.130. The 5-iron is 0.110 is what they label them at, and the 4-iron looks like it's got a little bit of bounce. I've got 4 through wedge through the set, and the 4-iron looks like it's got a little bit of offset, but nothing too bad. And as you go down the set, they're pretty minimal. When you get down to like this is a 7-iron in my hand, it's very minimal, and they have a very straight leading edge, which is kind of nice. But overall, I like the look. A little longer blade length, heel to toe. When you set them down next to the CBs, they're very similar in size. There's not a huge difference between the two, which is kind of nice if you're looking to maybe combo something up between, the T's, CBs, and then even you could throw some ST blades in there. You could combo something up, and they're all going to blend together pretty well. The top line is, I would say, kind of a thinner look to it, or well, not thinner look to it, but a kind of a medium look to it. It's not razor thin. It's got a little bit of meat there, but it's not bad. I think it's proportional to the head, and I think PXG did a good job, with the looks of these from a dress. They just look really solid. These, of course, you can get in, the standard matte chrome finish, and then they also make the extreme dark. So both of those are available in this iron. And they're 3 times forged. So the 8620 steel is 3 times forged, and I know they also do like a 5 times forged in some of the other stuff. But with the 3 times forged, I think they're just, they're forging the body, and they don't need to be, I guess, as detailed and intricate, since they're going to laser weld a face onto it. And the back is all milled, as well as the face being milled. And then the bottom, the soles are robotic polished. So that offers a little bit of consistency, so they're not hand polishing these things and getting stuff that varies in terms of bounce angle and shape and all that. But overall, just a really good looking iron, very proportionate. When you set it down to a T150, very similar in size, kind of, in a sense, similar in look. I think these are going to fight for, positions with stuff like the T150, the Apex Pro, a lot of those things this is going to play with. But overall, I think the look is really good when you set them down. I like the PXG look, which I know has a lot of ping influence, but I like the previous 311Ts and these. If you played those or saw those or liked those, you're going to see these 317Ts and really like them, because they are very similar. I kind of put them up next to those, and the sole width, very similar. I think the sole maybe even a hair narrower compared to those. Size and everything, very, very similar. But the package looks really good. I think PXG did a nice job. And, when you take them out on the course, you set them down and you feel pretty confident that you're able to kind of hit some different shots and also, work the ball whichever way you want to. When you get them out on the course, they perform really, really well. They're really good. They're really solid. I think they're a soft feel, but they're more solid than soft. I feel like they're a hair firmer than the Gen 5s. The Gen 5Ts, I think they're a hair firmer, but they don't have a click to them. It's not like they're firmer and have a click. I think between material, face, all that, they just have a slightly firmer feel when the ball leaves the face. But I still like it. It's still really good. It's still really responsive. Now, you don't get the harsh vibration. Like when you strike at center, it feels amazing. It's like you don't even, again, like a lot of, high-end, soft forged clubs, you just don't even feel the ball really leave the face. It just kind of, you feel that ball compress and go, and it's almost like you didn't hit it. But the difference with these is that even though these are steel shafted, and I've been playing a lot of graphite, when you do miss it and you hit it a little low, or you hit it off the toe, or wherever you miss it, you don't get a ton of unwanted vibration to the hands. It really does reduce a lot of vibration even when you miss it. Now, some people won't necessarily like that because, if you do mishit it, they like to have that vibration as feedback. I feel like you still get good feedback on this, but it's not near as harsh as some other players and players' distance irons, like players' cavities, player distance, that you miss it a little low and you're going to feel it through the hands. Like this, it really still does mute a lot of that vibration. So kind of nice, especially if you're playing in something that's it's a little chilly out, something like that. You miss it low, a couple grooves. You don't get you rattle your fillings out of your head or anything like that. They stay pretty soft. Sound is really good. When you hit it center, it's got that thud, that really just kind of low-pitched thud. When you do miss it, you hear a little bit more high-pitched audible sound. Again, very, very little, harsh vibration gets to the hands. Probably some of the least I've hit in any iron probably this year in terms of getting to the hands. But feel and sound, really, really good. I mean, as you'd expect, I think PXG always does a really nice job with sound and feel. And that's totally subjective, because what I love the feel of, you may not. And it's all going to depend on when you hit them and if you like them or not. But I always thought PXG pretty much nails the sound and feel with that, foam-filled or material-filled type irons. They do a good job with that. Performance, really, really solid. These things are easy to launch in the air. while they don't balloon or anything like that, they do get up pretty quick, and they have a decent trajectory to them. Now this, does have kind of a mid-launching shaft in the Modus Tour 115. Still easy to get a ball up in the air. Still had really steep angles of descent. When you're hitting irons into greens with these things, they get up, and when they get to the green, they pretty much stop. Very minimal release off fairway type lies, and I feel like these spin just a little bit more than the Gen 5 tees. I haven't put them like side to side on a launch monitor or anything like that yet. But just going out and playing with them, I feel like shots out of the rough that might have released a little bit more with the Gen 5 tees. These things stop just a little bit harder, and they have just a little better control than those Gen 5 tees did. Like I said, out of the rough, they still get up. The ball still spins really well. I haven't noticed anything in terms of hot spots on the green, flyers. I know some people said with the Gen 5s, they noticed some shots that just would just crank and go, like they'd just hit some kind of low spin flyer and it would just go for miles. I never had that problem with the Gen 5 tees. Maybe I just was missing in the wrong spot, because I definitely wasn't hitting the center of the face that much. But these, I haven't noticed anything like that, and I feel like they definitely have a little bit more control compared to the Gen 5 tees. I just feel like consistent shots, when you hit it good, I just feel like they're a little bit more consistent, and you can kind of expect whatever distance you get out of, say, a 7-iron. For me, it's 160. When you hit that 7-iron solid, you're getting 160 out of it. And when I go play like St. Clair Shores, you hit a lot of the same clubs. The par 3s are similar lengths and things like that, so you're kind of hitting a lot of the same clubs. And when they're hit solid, they definitely they go that distance, they stop. And off a fairway type lie, you get the same feeling. So really good feel. I would call these kind of like a mid-high launch. I've got a mid-launching shaft. These still get up in the air pretty good. The angle of descent seems to be really steep with the whole set. Another 4-iron for me is not that way. I mean, that's gonna, if I was to hit that into a green, that's gonna hit and roll a little bit. 4-iron for me, I don't typically hit into greens a lot. I just don't run into those type of lengths or distances that often, but I don't hit that much. But that's typically a tee club for me. And off the tee, kind of sneaky long. The first time I hit it, which was hole like 4 at St. Clair Shores, I think 4. There's like a big pond up on the right at like 220-ish. So if I hit 4-iron, I'm short of it, and I still have like an 8-9 iron into the green, depending on how far it goes and where I hit it. So I hit 4-iron there, and I didn't feel like I hit a great shot. Ball just went penetrating ball flight out there, and I had basically a 9-iron in, and I was really shocked because I didn't think I hit that ball that great, and got out there and I hit it to basically where I hit most 4-irons on that course. But off the tee, easy to hit, really long. But then when you get to like the shorter irons, like 6, 7, 8-irons, you hit them into the greens on par 3s there, just slightly teed up. The ball is just easy to launch in the air, hits, stops, and that's it. The first par 3 I played, I pulled an iron just a hair left, but I was kind of in between 7 and 8-iron. It was, I think, 150. I think it was 151. Wind was blowing into us a little bit, so 150 is my 8-iron, maybe a little bit more. But then into the wind, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Should I hit 7? But I'm like, 7's kind of a lot, so I'm like, I'm just gonna hit 8. If I come up a little short, I'm okay. And I hit just a really solid 8-iron. Just pulled it a hair left of the flag, and that ball hit. Had one hop of about maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Ball mark was right there, but yeah, it was out like a foot because it wasn't even 2 feet. It hit, left the ball mark about a foot in front of it, stopped, and that was it. And it's super easy to launch in the air, and they still go. They've got some power to them. They definitely feel that the ball leaves the face faster than say T150 and the Apex C Pro or the Apex CB and even the I230s. They feel like they kind of jump off the face there and go. And then miss hits, they still go pretty good too. On the second par 3, number 7 there, I ended up making birdie, and I hit it to like 4 feet, and it was a 1-arm Hideki follow through, and it was, I want to say that one was playing like 167 again into the wind, and I hit, I think did I hit 6-iron? I think I hit 6-iron. Didn't hit it great. Like I said, kind of 1-arm follow through, and the ball was kind of low left, and it hit right in the front of the green, popped up, rolled up to like basically pin high, like 4 feet, just short of pin high, 4 feet. made the putt for birdie, and I sat there like, holding onto the club with one hand. So, and I noticed, over the 2 weeks I've had these things, the mishits perform really, really well. Not only do they go a good ways and they hold a lot of ball speed, they stay pretty straight. And especially for an iron this compact, this small, I just didn't expect the forgiveness to be that decent on them, but they have been really, really good in terms of forgiveness. And I've hit a lot of shots not in the center of the club face and got away with it, and ended up with balls that were right around the green or right in front of the green or even on the green that I thought for sure were coming up way short, right, left, however I missed it. But they have come up on the green or very close to it almost every time, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to lost my train of thought. Forgiveness on them really, really solid. I will say the one thing that I feel like these, especially compared to some of the other irons, the soles on these tend to get down and dig just a hair more than, say, the T150s or the Apex Pros. Kind of these here, I feel like they get through the turf quickly, but they get down and dig just a touch more than a lot of my other sets. Now, granted, something like the I230's got a little wider sole, and even the Apex Pro's got a little bit wider sole than this thing, a little more rounded off. This does have kind of a little bit of a leading edge that's kind of beveled. If you can, I'm trying to show this on YouTube, it's not going to show. But it's got a little bit of a beveled leading edge, and it's got some trailing edge relief as well. So when you see these, you'll see that they're kind of polished off with a little trailing edge relief. They're when they get into the turf, they're fine. They kind of get through pretty quick. But I've noticed that my divots with these are just a hair more or a hair deeper than some of the other sets. It's not anything horrible, and then we play in softer conditions up here. I think if you're somebody who plays in a slightly firmer condition, or you're just a little bbit shallower, more of a picker, take a really small divot, you're going to like the turf interaction with these. I actually still don't mind it. I just noticed that the divots there that I've had with these off the fairway and stuff have been just a smidge deeper than some of the other irons. So do I chalk it up as a little bit of a negative? Sure, but I think for a lot of players, these things are going to perform really, really well. Now, well-struck shots, distance-wise, these things go pretty good. I feel like they're a few yards longer than kind of the other 3 or 4 sets that I've been playing. I would put these kind of on par with like the Vega Mizar Tours in terms of distance. Now those have a little bit stronger lofts. These playoff stuff that's a little bit more traditional. I want to say pitching wedge is 46 degrees, 7 irons 32, 4 iron 22.5. So pretty standard to all the other kind of players distance type irons in there. Nothing crazy strong. But distance on well-struck shots, they go. I mean, they're, like I said, probably a couple yards longer than everything else. And I would say, keeping up with Mizar Tours that, are a little bit stronger. I've taken mine and I've actually bent them weak, so mine kind of match these a little bit. But these things definitely are long. I would say I would put these up against, almost like a P770 in terms of distance. I think they're pretty close there, maybe just a hair behind, but not by much. But I really like this iron. I think it's a great package. I think there's a player like myself who's a bad 9, trending up towards a 10. I can play these irons with no problem. I have no problem. Now the 4 iron off the deck, that's going to be the issue where I get into, can I hit it high enough and whatnot? But there's ways around that with, hybrids and fairway woods and stuff like that. All the rest of the set, I feel really confident that I can hit these into greens, have no problem. I feel like if I don't have to be perfect. And, when you set them down, they look good. I mean, I like the fact that you can set these down, you look good, they look like a player's club. And then when you don't put a perfect swing on it, you can still get away with a good shot and be still left in a position of, making par, making birdie, and, not have to worry about, did I just miss it enough where now I'm making bogey, or I'm, playing for a bogey and got double could come into play or anything like that. Nothing like that, comes into play. So these are really solid. If you're looking for a player's distance iron that's compact, but got a little pop to it, got a little help, has a little forgiveness, just all around, it kind of looks like a blade, but you get some help. The 0317Ts are really worth looking into. I think PXG did a nice job with these, and I've been impressed with them. So I've got, 18? I've got 27 holes in them so far. Or I'm sorry, 27 or 36? I think I have 36 of them. I think I have 2 9 holes and an 18. But either way, I've played a decent amount of golf with them so far, and been really happy, really impressed with them. I think they've done a really nice job. And if you go to pxg.com, you can check out all the details and all that stuff on them. I know that they're not at every fitter anymore, and they kind of focused a lot of their stuff on either online sales or at their own stores. But if you have a chance to go hit these things and you're looking for something that is a player's distance iron, something that's compact, something that when you set it down looks good, you feel comfortable with, but still gives you a little help, as well as good feel, good sound, all that, I think it should be on your radar. I think it should be something that you try, because they are solid irons, and from wedge up to 4-iron, they're very playable. I think anybody who's looking to work the ball a little bit, anything like that, you're going to be able to do it. Especially if you get fit shaft wise, all that fits you. I think you'll be able to flight them down, hit some penetrating low shots, and hoist them up in the air if you need to as well. I don't kind of have that game. Mine is let's just hit a solid shot to the center of the green and play for par. But if you're somebody out there who's even more skilled and looking to work the ball more, I think these are going to give you a good option. And then also if you're somebody blending, if you're somebody who really loves the CBs or the MB, the the CB or the ST, to put maybe 1 or 2 of these in, you go 4 or 5 iron in the T, and then you throw in CBs the rest of the way, or STs the rest of the way. I think it's going to blend really well. And so far, I haven't had anything with hot spots or crazy low spin numbers or anything like that. So really a solid iron. 0317T. PXG.com. Check these bad boys out and give them a try for yourself. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to how solid they are, and they're definitely in the rotation. Like I said, I've got a handful of irons here that I'm struggling. That I got I got to play more rounds so I can rotate through these things and play them more and more. So next year is going to be a good year when it comes to irons, I think. So then after that, we've got something else brand new, and something that I remember when we saw it on tour. Tursky and Greg were out there on tour, took some photos of it, and I think the first guy that we really saw with one of these in the bag, or at least a prototype version, his is not coming to retail, but Scotty Scheffler was playing the Spider Tour. So the TaylorMade Spider Tour putters, and I know Scheffler was kind of playing one of these bad boys right out of the gate. He had a prototype one with a milled face and some hollowed out pockets. In the back he had a little bit more of a traditional Spider design, but a kind of a very TaylorMade looking putter with some new tech and all that. But this is the brand new Spider Tour, and this is the Spider Tour V. So they're making a couple different versions of Spider Tours, and the one that's I think a lot of people are excited about is the standard Spider Tour. So the Spider Tour is the one that's going to look like the old original Spider. It has the 2 little kind of jet pod engines hanging out the back, the little wings there with the weights in them, and then they make each one of these in a slant neck or double bend. And then if you want a plumber's neck, you can do the My Spider program and customize everything, colors and all that stuff, and get the plumber's neck on there as well. But they make the Spider Tour, which is that old school design. I think it was really cool. The Spider Tour X, which is like the Spider X, which has the 2 little wings on the back there. Don't have the weights in there, but the 2 little wings, and then it's movable weights on the bottom. Then they have a Tour Z, which is very similar to this, but with little wings to push more weight out. And then the Tour V, which is this one here. And the Tour V I kind of like because it's a little different, where they're pushing the weight forward on the head. So the 2 movable weights are pushed up near the face, not in the back like a lot of the other models. And they sent in a couple different ones. I was messing around with them on my, just down here in my basement. And then the Tour V I wanted to take out to the course because I was like, you know what? I've hit a Spider X. I've hit a Spider Tour. Let's go take the V out because it does have the front forward weights. So let's take that bad boy out and try it instead of the other one, since I've used those other heads. And, I took this one out and went slant neck, which is interesting because I've been kind of into the slant necks a little bit more. I've been into having a little more toe hang. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which you can if you search Golf the BRX Radio, You can see toe hang wise, just a little bit there. I want to say it's going to hang right about 4 o'clock. But just a little bit of toe hang, and through my stroke I found that I can still putt with double bends, still putt with a lot of face balance stuff, but just that little bit of toe flow does kind of help sometimes, and I putt pretty decent with it. As much as my stroke kind of tries to be a little bit straight back, straight through, I believe everybody has just a little bit of arc in their stroke. So this one here, again, weight's pushed forward. The whole center of these things on the bottom, you'll see kind of the blue sole plate. Underneath there is mostly hollow. It's a kind of a hollowed out section, and then it's also got like a little noise chamber as well, so they can basically dial in the noise. So a lot of weight pushed to the outside of the club for maximum forgiveness and stability. And the new finish is, I guess, a PVD finish on here instead of being paint or anything like that, so it should hold up a little bit better than some of the paints and stuff before that have chipped and kind of looked rough prematurely on the other putters. But I like the shape. I think it's a little sleek. It doesn't have any wings or anything. When you set it down, it just has kind of a little bit more compact mallet shape. I like the true the true, geez, I can't remember what it's called now. The True Path alignment. I like that on there. The kind of the big white line with the single sight line on there. I do really well with just long single lines for aligning my putters. And just overall, just a kind of a nice look. It looks it looks a little smaller, looks a little more compact, and I kind of like it. So it frames the ball well, and it was something a little different. I also like the fact they come with Super Stroke Pistol 1.0s. I'm always a big fan of the Super Stroke pistol grip. I like having that little bit of roundness on the underside of it with the flat top. And then they've got a black KBS shaft in here. So overall, just a really good looking package. I think they did a nice job. Pure Roll insert is white TPU, they call it. I guess it's a mix of TPU and aluminum. I feel like it's a hair firmer than some of the previous Pure Roll inserts. I have a Abandon 3. That's basically kind of the fang putter, and I feel like this is just a touch firmer than that, and it's got just a touch more click to it on impact out on the course. Down in the basement, I don't notice it quite as much, but when I go to the course, I feel like, especially with some longer putts, I feel like this has just a slightly firmer feel to it. And now, out of the course, got it out there, and the first thing, take it to the practice green, and gonna go roll some putts before I play. I like the Pure Roll inserts. I think they roll the ball really well, and they put a good forward roll on it. And I've had with certain putters that have face textures like this and face millings like that, I have noticed that some of them, the ball does roll, get rolling pretty quick. It puts a lot of topspin on it, and that ball feels like it comes off just like a little bit hot, a little bit quick. I didn't notice that so much with this. When I took it out there, dropped a couple balls, hit, a few. I usually, whatever the first, I would usually come in from the right side of the green and throw a few balls down there. And usually it's between 5 and 10 feet is the first putt, depending on where they put that cup that's over there on the right. And when I got up there was no cup on the right that week. They had 2 cups kind of over more near the center of the thing, so I had about a 20-footer. And the first putt I left woefully short. It's kind of an uphill, and then it dies downhill. And I left that one short. And the next one there, I got it pretty much to the hole. But, speed-wise, I thought the speed was really good. I didn't notice that anything was wildly quick or, and then distance control I thought was really solid. I thought it was really easy to dial it in. I know people with inserts claim, distance control is very difficult and they have a hard time, gauging it. I don't know. I haven't had a problem, at least with this insert. Now, I have hit some putters like that Sick Face technology and stuff that I thought did roll really quick, and it took some getting used to how fast that ball kind of came off. But this one here, I felt it was pretty traditional. I had, coming from, I think I was using before it, I was using my Bettinardi, so milled putter, whatever. I didn't feel like I had any problems in terms of speed, distance control or speed, anything like that when I threw the ball down. I putted really well with this for 3 rounds, something like that. I think 27 hole. I think I played I played 9 and 18 with it. And I think I putted really well with it, actually. I think I made some putts, made a couple birdies, and I felt dialing in the speed and all that was really easy. And as I said, Pure Roll puts a really, really good roll on the ball. The True Path alignment's really simple. I think it's easy to line up the putts. And I think, if I line it up and swing it, it's going on that line. This thing here is actually pretty stable, and I think it's like the least stable of all of them because it doesn't have any little wings. It doesn't have a ton of weight. All the weight's pushed forward. Stability was still really good. Going out, especially on the putting green where you're, just kind of hitting putts. Knowing I missed a couple out on the toe. That's kind of where my miss is just out on the toe away from the center. And ball stayed on line really, really well. And that, Pure Roll insert still kept a good amount of distance on those putts. So putts that I didn't strike well, I could either still make or get it close to right around the hole. Now the interesting thing is with this putter, the V, having the weights pushed forward, it does have a little feel throughout the stroke compared to, say, the Spider X, the Spider Tour X, which has the weights kind of pushed back. This thing does feel like it wants to rotate just a hair quicker at impact. Like it just wants to get to that impact just a little bit, or get to squared back at impact just a little bit faster. Where the other one does almost have a little bit feel of stability. It almost feels like it kind of wants to keep itself more straight on to the. If you set the putter down, aiming at the target, this feels like it wants to open a little bit and then kind of snap shut a little bit like a blade, where the Spider X, with the weights being back, feels like the head just wants to kind of stay on line and be more straightforward, straight back. So you get a little feeling of the hands of this wanting to close just a little bit quicker, and it kind of does feel a little more blade-ish than Spider 2 or Spider X in the lineup. It just kind of has that, which is nice. I think there's a lot of people out there who play blade putters and want to maybe try a mallet for something different, want to add a little stability, a little forgiveness, and being able to have something that kind of rotates through the hands, in the hands, kind of has that feeling of a blade, but still has some of that mallet forgiveness and MOI. I think this Spider Tour V could be really good. But I did notice that it does swing just a little bit different, and it's more so on kind of those mid putts. I mean, short putts are short; you're just not bringing the thing back very far. And on long putts, I feel like you're kind of bringing the putter so far back and going through that I don't notice it that much. But it's those mid kind of 10 to 15 footers that I felt like you kind of noticed that head rotation just a little bit more with those forward weights compared to the other putters that had rearward weights. So something that's kind of interesting there. But overall, I love the feel. I like the sound. I think the finish is good. I think this PVD kind of dark gray finish looks really solid. There's zero glare to it when you're out on the course, and I think it contrasts well with a green. It sticks out, and you're able to align it pretty well. I think the little gaps in it frame the ball well, and overall, it's just kind of a really comfortable putter to use. It didn't take a whole lot of getting used to. You just kind of threw some some balls down and just started putting, and the thing just started working. So the Spider Tour V, I was really impressed with. I made a 4 or 5 foot birdie. I made probably 18-foot birdie on a par 5. So I made a couple birdies with it, and then all the putts that I had for the most part were pretty much right around the hole. If I didn't make it, it was pretty much give me range, just tap in range, stuff like that. And then also, I had a lot of, sometimes you get certain putters in your hand and you just never really have the confidence that you're going to make, especially like those 5 footers for par. Like you're just kind of like, what do I got to do here and all that. And then there's other putters that you stand over and you're just like, I'm going to make every one of those putts. And this is one of those things where I felt like I was going to make those 5 foot par putts. Just didn't feel like, there was any kind of thought or there wasn't any confidence in it. I set it down, started putting, and there was confidence in the putter right out of the get-go. So that was pretty nice. But overall, I like the Spider Tour series. I think 4 putters, 4 head shapes, and then 2 hosels each. I think they're really, really nice. I think if you like the Spider design, the other thing that's nice is that they've got a nice head cover, magnetic closure. I know that's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, that's kind of, who cares, a head cover? I love magnetic head covers. They're really nice. They just, you don't have to worry about somebody else putting. You can just take your head cover off. You don't have to worry about the ripping sound, or if somebody's, hitting their shot or whatever. Really like the magnetic cover. It is pretty nice. It's got a little two-tone. It's got, it's black, gray, has a little spider on it, and then on the top has a little, yellow and gray on the top. So just a nice little head cover, and, the little things like magnetic closures are just super, super nice. So really nice there, and just a good-looking package. Gloss black shaft, Pistol 1.0. The interesting thing, Pistol 1.0, the Super Stroke, there is no support in the back for any of the weights. Like if you're going to put a countercore weight or anything like that, it does not exist on this. It is a fully molded back handle, and it's actually kind of like a rubber material. It's less foamy feeling, so that if you're somebody who likes to put a little counterbalance weight or something in there, even though it's a super stroke grip, you're not going to be able to do that on this grip. But I do like that it's a Pistol 1.0. I like that shape. It feels good in the hands, and was like this putter a lot. It was a 34-inch putter. I usually play 33. I just choked down about an inch, and I had no problem, putting with this thing, right out of the gate. So didn't even feel the need that I really needed to cut it down or anything. And as I play tonight, I'm debating whether I put this in the bag or do I go something else. But this definitely has a chance of going in the bag, and it's definitely going to jump into the rotation. I know I'm adding more and more stuff into my rotation of putters, but this one here, I think it's going to join the Bettinardi, the Lab, and the PXG counterbalance one that I built. I think it's going to join all those guys as a putter that definitely goes into the rotation. So I like it a lot. It's pretty solid, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. If you've ever been a Spider fan, or just looking for a mallet with something different, or looking for a mallet with some options, or like I said with this Tour V, the Spider Tour V, if you're looking for a mallet that kind of swings a little bit like a blade, definitely worth checking out and trying. I don't know if there's a weight kit available yet for these, or if they're going to offer one. It'd be interesting. I would love to build like the OG Spider Tour, the OG head, build it long, super heavy weights, make it counterbalance would be pretty sweet. But the new Spider Tour, the Tour V, big fan so far. So I really like it. Go to TaylorMadeGolf.com. You can go check out all the different Tour models, the Tour V, Tour Z, Tour X. They've got them all on there with all the different specs and everything like that. So check those out there when you get a chance. And if you're looking for a new putter, they're out there. So like those a lot, and I think that's all I've got today. That's it. I felt like I tried to keep this one short, and it felt like it went just as long as every other podcast. So try to keep it short for you fellas, and I apologize I didn't. But got scrambled today. So what's in the bag? I don't know. I think we're going Ping I-230s with the Fujikura Axioms. Driver wise, I think we're gonna go Cobra LTD or Cobra Aerojet LS with, I don't know what shaft. I'm thinking I might jump into the Tensei 1K Pro Blue and toss that back in there. And then 3-wood, I think I'm going TSR2 with a Graphite Design GP7. I kind of busted that thing out. I was kind of going through all the shaft bin and just pulling out some old stuff. And I had one of those with the Titleist tip on it, so I think that's going there. 7-wood will probably be my standard. Instead of my 7-wood, I'll probably go hybrid just because I'll hit it more off the tee. Actually, I probably won't hit it at all. But go that, and then I think the Ping I-230s, and then wedge-wise, my wedges I've kind of getting into is Cleveland RTX 650 degree, and then the 56 being that Mizuno T24, and then the 60 I've been a huge fan of the Mill Grind 4 Tiger Woods 60. So that there, and then putter, I don't know, I might go counterbalanced. We'll see what I'm feeling like. That could be kind of a last minute decision, but that's probably what I'm going to rock for the little little scramble. So we'll see how it goes. See if we can win. I've been fortunate enough to usually be on a good team, and we've won a few of these. So let's see if we can go out and win again for our final little playing of the year in my league. So that's all I've got. Listen, if you're wherever you're listening to this podcast, please like, subscribe, whatever. It'd be awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, really appreciate it. If you can watch on YouTube, just search Golf 3RX Radio. And then also please follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. I'm trying to get to 10K by the end of the year. I'm at 9,200, just over that. So excited, trying to get to 10K. Maybe we'll do some kind of cool giveaway. I'll pull something out here that we can that's really fun and cool. We'll give something away that's awesome when we hit 10K. So let's do that, and hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the Ryder Cup. Let's go USA, and we'll talk to you guys next week.